Isla de la Cartuja is an almost island in the Guadalquivir River at Seville, Spain. The island's name derives from the cloister located on the site, the Monasterio de Santa María de las Cuevas, where Christopher Columbus lived when planning the voyage to the west. In 1992, Seville hosted the Expo or World's Fair on an island that had been largely undeveloped, La Cartuja Island. The theme for the expo was the Age of Discovery, and over 100 countries were represented. Before 1992, the island was completely isolated between the Guadalquivir River and the Canal de Alfonso XII. After the Expo 92, it was joined to mainland by a wide isthmus in the south with Triana neighborhood. 4 new bridges were built to the island, of which the Alamillo Bridge is the largest and most impressive, becoming in the process a symbol for the. After the construction of the bridge, the popularity of the island increased and new constructions appeared. Among other infrastructures and buildings located in the Isla de la Cartuja, the most important is Cartuja 93 Park, a research and development complex. The La Cartuja Stadium, University Schools of Engineering and Communications, the Pavilion of Navigation, the Andalusian Contemporary Art Center, and the American Garden are also located here. Santiago Calatrava is a Spanish architect, sculptor, and structural engineer born in 1951. He is classed among the elite designers of the world and is well known for his sculpt designs. Construction of the bridge began in 1989 and was complete in 1992 from a design by this architect, Santiago Calatrava. The original intent was to build 2 mirroring bridges on either side of the island. One bridge would cross the Guadalquivir River and the other would span the Meandro de San Jerónimo, near the city of Seville. In the end, the cost of these 2 structures was too high, and only one bridge was built, the Alamillo Bridge, over the San Jerónimo River. A more conventional, less costly bridge would be built over the Guadalquivir River. The main bridge has a 200-meter-long span, painted in Calatrava's trademark bright white color. The most distinguishing aspect of the design is the 142 meters tall pylon, which is gracefully slanted at the angle of 68 degrees. The pylon is filled with concrete and acts as a counterbalance for the 35.5-meter wide bridge deck, which is anchored by 13 pairs of cables. This monument is a cantilever-spar cable-stayed bridge, which is a modern variation of the cable-stayed bridge.
The Alamillo Bridge is the only bridge that is balanced solely through added weights, not requiring any type of back anchorage. There are 54 steel piles under the bridge, but they act passively under the mast. The force distribution does not depend solely upon the cantilever action of the spar. The angle of the spar away from the bridge and the weight distribution in the spar serve to reduce the overturning forces applied to the footing of the spar. The construction of the bridge, due to its structural peculiarities, resulted in a series of unprecedented challenges, as well as a much higher cost than a common cable-stayed bridge. This bridge is considered a monument rather than a piece of structural art. The neighborhood and city district has been focus of urbanization plans for at least a decade. All of this before the construction of the bridge. New residential areas and commercial zones have been developed in the neighborhood, and major plans such as the skyscraper Cajasol Tower, presently being built. The mast of the bridge is made of hexagonal steel plates, reinforced inside by reinforced concrete. The board is designed with a metallic structure and is composed of a central box of hexagonal shapes where the active anchoring straps. From this box, metal ribs start on either side. Leaning on them, there is a concrete slab that forms the board for the vehicular traffic. 2 roads of 3 lanes each one. Mast and board are embedded in a solid concrete pedestal founded by 54 piles of 2 meters in diameter and 48 meters deep. These piles are able to offset movements exercised by the mast and the board. The recess is made through the corresponding transitions between the concrete and metal. The wires are formed of 60 strands of 0.6-inch diameter each one, except the last pair of 291 meters in length, consisting of 45 strands.
Although La Cartuja Island was very near to Seville, it wasn't absorbed by the city until the 20th century. In 1975, the first studies to provide communication with a branch of the subway began. Since this year, La Cartuja was considered as a potential urban development area. But the real development started in the last decade of the century, more specifically in the year 1992. This is closely related to the Expo 92, a world fair that took place in Seville, and the reason why the Alamillo Bridge was built. The main function of the Alamillo Bridge was to connect an island with the rest of the city. However, it brought a long list of benefits for the people in the city, all of this associated with the possibility of easier communication with the surroundings. One of the most important changes was in the economy and the commerce. With this shortcut, supplies of food and traded goods can get across impediments with less effort and time. This means that the cost of each stage of trade is lowered, and in consequence the economical benefits for the city and the people are increased. Also, another aspect promoted by this bridge was the tourism. The first reason for this is the facility of communication with an important city as Seville. But the bridge itself is a reason as well, because a structure made by a worldwide famous architect as Santiago Calatrava became an icon that people interested in the theme wanted to see with its own eyes.